You all set, Ben?
Yep, I'm all set.
Sweet.
All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to our Business Career Expo. Today, you'll be hearing from multiple employers and companies in the business field who will introduce you to different career paths within your discipline, educate you about the various positions within your desired career field, and create a networking opportunity for you and local participating employers. After the employers present, we will open the panel to questions from students. So please listen carefully and make sure to write down your questions because they might already be answered. Feel free to submit any questions in the chat box as they could be answered during the panel. At the conclusion, we will be hearing from a career advisor from the ACT Center who will talk more about the services we offer and some of the events for this semester. If you wish, you can enter our raffle to begin for a chance to win a gift card. So to do so, you must stay long enough to hear from the career advisor and you must have your video turned on. All right, so now we would like to ask the employers to introduce themselves, your company, and talk a little bit about what you do. All right, Dan, would you like to start us off?
Sure. Thank you so much. I'm Dan Dranowski from Hudson Valley Credit Union. We are a not-for-profit financial institution. We currently have locations in 4 counties in the Hudson Valley. Dutchess County is kind of our center and where our operations are housed. A little bit about my role as the manager of talent acquisition. I oversee a team of 2 in-house recruiters, as well as 1 recruiting coordinator. We're a high volume recruiting sort of company. So we do full cycle recruitment, meaning we source candidates, we do phone screens, we set up interviews, we make job offers, and then we onboard new hires into the organization and get them set up for success in the orientation process. So that's a little bit about our company, me, and the role.
Thanks, Dan. Who would like to go next? How about you, Amy?
My name is Amy Van Tassel. I am the Industrial Staffing Division Manager for Ethan Allen Workforce Solutions. So we are a temp to hire, direct hire, skilled staffing employer. We currently staff throughout the Hudson Valley. So we do have 4 offices. We are in Kingston, Fishkill, Middletown, and Poughkeepsie is our main office. We do everything from manufacturing and warehousing work to administrative to medical, LPNs, RNs, all the way up to like CEOs, CFOs. We staff all those types of positions. It's a great idea to align yourself with a staffing agency, especially early on in your career, because personally, Ethan Allen has been in the Hudson Valley since 1969. So we've been here for over 50 years. We're aligned with a lot of the great companies in the area. And, we are able to put your resume out in front of the hiring managers. And because they trust us and we've been working with them for so long, typically your resume will be seen maybe before it would be seen if it was just, submitted to a website online. So great idea to align yourself with an agency. Also a good way to get, some experience in different areas. That's pretty much it.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Chris, would you like to introduce yourself?
Okay, good evening. Thank you for having us again. I have Paul here who I'm gonna shift over and have him take the spotlight. Both of us wanted to just sit in and see how this is going. So Paul, if you want to jump in. If he unmutes.
Paul's on mute.
It's the top left. I had to find it too. All right. Well, I better start off. There it is. Go ahead, Paul.
I was not muted, but it was the microphone, the internal microphone had to be hooked up. I apologize for that. Yeah, my name is Paul Sensei. I am one of the two recruiters on site at our Middletown, New York call center. And like Chris said, we just wanted to jump on, introduce ourselves. Right now, we're looking for some good talent. We hire for customer support reps or technical support reps. We do both non-exempt and exempt level recruiting there. So it could be our call center representatives, our leads, our supervisors, and managers. But we're just looking for some individuals fresh into the field that have an interest to learn more about technology, in particular, internet and phone troubleshooting and whatnot. So in a very growing industry with technology, we are a very entry level position. And if you have an interest to learn more about computer technology, it's a fantastic company to work for. We offer great benefits, and we have our postings on Indeed. You may see us on there under customer support rep for Middletown, New York. And again, Spectrum, you'll see that is our brand name. Our company name is Charter Communications. So if you see either one of those, it's the same thing. But I look forward to hearing from everyone. And Chris and I are very easy to get a hold of. We'll catch up with everybody, I'm sure, soon enough.
Thank you so much. What was I going to say? The last person that we have and joining us tonight is Judianne. And Judianne, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Judianne Romanello. I'm a new business owner. Very weird time to open a business, but opened in 2020. I have a small vintage shop. I sell women's clothing and accessories in Cold Spring, New York. And I'm also looking to hire a couple people to help with in-shop help, as well as social media. We do a lot online. With everything going on in the world, we'd had to shift and kind of pivot our, strategy of how to sell. I mean, right now, being that it's the winter months and it's just, it's very slow right now. So we do a lot more online. But yeah, interesting time to start a business. So I wanted to come on here and we'll talk a little bit more about that, how to do that in this climate.
No, thank you very much. Yeah, looking forward to hearing it. And before I went on to just introducing us, I just wanted to give since there's only a few students, I just wanted to give any opportunity. If you wanted to introduce yourself, it's okay if you don't, but feel free to go now if you'd like. Anybody, any takers? That's okay. I'm just to introduce myself. My name's Michael Strachey. I am an academic coach at Dutchess Community College in the ACT Center. We're holding this event to help students connect with local employers in the area. It's kind of an event that we've put on now for one semester virtually, and then before the pandemic happened, this was a pretty, as I understand it, burgeoning event with multiple employers and in person, and students were able to connect with a lot of folks. So we're trying to have this event still happen under the conditions we're given right now. So I'm pretty happy that we can get at least a few folks here to talk to students. Thanks for coming. The thing that I just wanted to just double back for a minute, like as a reminder, earlier Ben mentioned just for students who can stay towards the end, we'll hear from a career advisor at Dutchess from the ACT Center as well. Joe Riley's here to talk just about a few points. I think what he has to share is really valuable. So if you're able to stay, it'll only be about under an hour, a little bit, maybe close to the hour. And if you stay long enough to hear him, we have a gift card to raffle off. So we appreciate it if you stay. But let's just move into the first part. We wanted to, and Judianne remarked on this pretty well, ask employers how COVID has really affected your day-to-day hiring folks, the prospect of hiring people. How has that really affected your role and what you do in your area? Anybody like to share on that first?
I can start. I went from face-to-face interviews. We would do anywhere between 5 and 10 face-to-face interviews per recruiter per day, where employees were coming into the office, they were meeting with us, they were in the office for about an hour and a half to 2 hours. We are now completely online with our recruiting and our interview process. So we have changed our entire way that we work, our entire, everything basically. So we do also have a questionnaire that our employees are, filling out every single day before they go into work. The basic COVID, most companies are doing it right now anyway. We have a lot of clients that are looking for employees, and it's actually driven the pay rates in the area up because there's not as many people looking for work. There's also a lot of new businesses coming in, so there's a lot of competition, especially in Orange County. Chris, I'm sure you've seen this, a lot of things coming in, and it has driven the pay rates up, and it's an employee market right now. So that's kind of what we're seeing and what we're doing, and we're trying to get people out to work as quickly as we possibly can. So if you're looking for work, if you call us, there's a chance you could be out to work within a day or two, and even if you haven't ever registered with us before.
Wow, thank you. Anybody else care to share what their experience has been like?
Yeah, I'll
Yes.
jump in. So, at the credit union, COVID really affected us in a lot of different ways, and it's still causing us to pivot really quickly, in a number of different ways. But when the pandemic started, basically our branch volume really got significantly lower. From a recruiting standpoint, when we lost people in the branches, we didn't fill those open positions right away because we didn't have the volume to support it. And then as we got towards the fall, there was a shift back, and a lot more people were going back and doing their banking. So I got super busy. I actually had to call Amy's team at Ethan Allen and have them help me fill some roles really quickly. We've also seen a shift in the types of positions. So we're hiring a lot more call center people, probably kind of like Chris, less people in the branches, more people over the phone. And then new roles like temperature checkers at our operations center to make sure everybody's safe and things like that. So, I'll also concur with what Amy's saying. It's really tough, especially to find entry level workers right now for a variety of reasons, and it's really changed the labor market. And it's weird, you read in the news that unemployment is so high, but not a lot of those people are actively seeking work. So it's creating a labor shortage. It's a great time, if you do want to start and find an entry level position, now's a great time to sort of jump into the game.
Certainly, yeah, that's a good point. I didn't realize that that shortage existed in the way that you described. It's interesting. Anybody else care to share anything about that question?
I'll jump in here. I second everything that the two prior to me had mentioned. It's very true as far as the competitive pay rates. They're increasing in the Orange County area for sure. Primarily, Chris and I both really miss just getting to tie in with the candidates face to face. Prior to COVID, we were having job fairs on a bi-weekly basis that were all in-house, and it was a very fun experience. We had the pre-screening, the interviewing with the supervisors all on site. We're trying to make every effort possible at this time to connect with these future candidates in the best way possible, because now they can't see the call center beforehand because we have strict COVID restrictions that you can't really enter the building if you're not an employee. We do have a know before you go program where every employee does have to check in. They could scan their phone right at the front door and answer a couple questions. You have to check your temperature and so on. But what Chris and I are really looking at doing is creating some videos that display our call center, our training room, our trainers, our HR team, and using that for our potential candidates, that they get a better idea of what they're actually interviewing for, getting to see the environment before they actually become an employee. So it's been a rough ride, but we're making the best out of it, as I'm sure we all are. And we're taking every precaution possible, and we just can't wait to get things back to normal again.
Yeah, certainly. Yeah. And I think Ben and I and a couple of our other colleagues are here. They would probably echo just the unusualness, but I feel like I've already gotten used to getting tested each week, and if we have to be on campus, that kind of thing. So it's certainly something to adapt to. I think just one other part of that question, I would throw it to Judianne just to see what she thought. You started off. You mentioned how you started your business during this time. Um, how do you approach, or what have you done, if anything, to persist through this time? Because we know this situation is not really going to go away, like at the snap of a finger. Just curious, like if you've thought about your long-term strategy.
Yeah, I mean, as a retailer, I sell clothing, and luckily for vintage, it doesn't really go out of style. So I can hang on to like more formal wear for other seasons when things are like back up, like weddings, and we missed holiday, prom season, all these things where people would normally be dressing up. But I've stopped using it as an excuse, which I think is really important, because that's just not what we're buying for right now. The market's changing, people's needs are changing, and their style is changing. So rather than keep trying to push the same stuff, we have to pivot and go out and source things that people are wanting. So maybe it's more casual wear. So it's less of like, oh, it's COVID, so we're just not going to sell this product. Well, it's what are we going to make money off of, and how do we profit off of this? So even during like the holiday season, we were like sitting on a lot of like smaller goods. We sell like other things aside from clothing, so like skincare and stuff. So we started creating like bundles of things. So it's just pivoting. I was never someone in business until very recently. In the past 2 years, I decided to leave my corporate job and go after this thing that I wanted to do of opening a store. And I think the biggest advice during this really odd time is, we're not using this as an excuse anymore. It's just, how do we move forward? And you just need to just pivot, figure it out, try to do something else. You can't do the same exact thing and expect a result, because you're just not going to move forward. It's just going to hold you back. So we're just constantly trying new strategies of how do we make these sales? So if it's dead and it snows, like today, I spent the day pushing product on Instagram, and we launched a sale at 5 p.m. and I spent all day doing this on my bedroom floor. But it's just the way it is. Like sometimes you can't go into work. So just preparing yourself for those days, like where you can't go in, or, having things on hand to sell.
Yeah, I think it's definitely great points. And it's something I think that students could take away if they are interested in pursuing that kind of field or that kind of role. Because you're talking about big skills such as adaptability and thinking about what's how your business needs to change through time, and taking into account the situation with coronavirus too. So I appreciate you sharing those thoughts. Um, so I think I just wanted to take a moment, because I think it's important to get some of the students, maybe just like input. I know there's not a ton of them with like videos on. There's a couple, and I appreciate that. Just if you had to answer the question, how prepared do you feel right now to enter the workforce? I just was looking for like some feedback. So if you open up your chat box, you could send like an emoji, you could send a message like one word. I think some folks have actually a reaction button at the bottom. You could use that. We'd love to hear or at least see what your preparedness is in entering the job field right now, and considering COVID and stuff like that. So I'll wait like 20 seconds for people to maybe put in a word or an emoji. I think it'd be interesting to see. And if you have any questions about how to do that, let me know. but it should be pretty simple with the chat box. Any takers? Okay, all right, excited. We got excited. That's good. That's good because it's hard to be excited right now for a lot of stuff. I have one more student join.
Keep
Trying
it
to keep
positive,
positive.
name the game.
Awesome. Any others? Let's see. Non-traditional student, already worked full-time for over 20 years. Okay, so we're preaching to the choir with that one. Got it. Got it. Well, I appreciate it. Thank you so much for the input. Just always curious to see, like, you know, what you all think listening to this. Ben, did you want to introduce the next part, or did you want me to go into it?
So I can introduce. The next part, we're just going to be talking about educating students about various positions in their desired field. So we'd like to ask the employers about what types of jobs or internships opportunities does your agency offer? What are different job trajectories in your specific field? And what kind of experience is required for an entry-level position at your company? Would anyone like to start?
Any takers?
I can go first again. Okay,
Thank you.
so as far as Ethan Allen is concerned, if you want to work for us, meaning in a temp to hire for one of our client companies, we do have 3 divisions. So we have our medical division, our administrative division, and our industrial division. We cover pretty much everything with those 3 divisions. And if there's something that you're not sure about, like food service or, you know, something in the, you know, something else that it doesn't really sound like it might go in, chances are we kind of staff for that as well. So as far as experience for entry level is concerned, we do references on our employees. So really all we're looking for is someone who's reliable. And we don't do personal references. We would do either a professional reference, or, you know, if you hadn't worked before, we might reach out to a guidance counselor, or if you had done some volunteer work, or if you had, you know, babysat, as long as somebody's not a friend or a relative, you know, preferably somebody that you had to report to for something, with that, you know, very basic, you know, work. So, I mean, as far as my division is concerned, and we're all very busy. So right now I have a ton of openings. So as far as my division is concerned with our industrial pieces, you know, as long as you're reliable and you're hardworking and you ask questions and you don't just make assumptions and you follow, you know, direction, you're going to be successful. We have a lot of employees who get hired on by our client companies. You know, it can be a really good stepping stone. And a lot of our HR managers with a lot of the, or floor managers and that kind of thing with our client companies, they came from us. They started at the bottom. They started doing assembly work, or, you know, an HR assistant or answering phones, and they moved their way up through the company. So it's a really good way to just get your foot in the door, find out what it is that you like, even if you're open to just temporary work. If you don't have anything else going on, you call me and you say, hey, I would be open to temp or temp to hire with a temporary position. If you're there because there's a burst of business or somebody's out on a medical leave and they need help, that person may not come back, or something else may open up, or things might stay busy. You're doing a good job. You're already trained, and there's a good chance that you could be offered a direct hire or a permanent opportunity with the company. But it's all about you and how you present yourself and how you speak. And it's really important to, when you're saying things to people or you're presenting yourself to a potential employer, to kind of look at yourself through their eyes while you're communicating with them. That's it.
Thank you.
Amy. Would anyone else like to go next?
I'll jump in if you want. So at the credit union, you know, we have a lot of different jobs for a lot of different majors. You know, we're a pretty big company, so we hire people in IT and marketing, in accounting, lending positions, business intelligence, sort of all of the typical positions you'd think of that a big company would need, to function. But really, our real true entry level position at the credit union would be a bank teller. So, tellers at the credit union are kind of the face of the organization. Any of you that have ever walked into a bank or a credit union, usually you're going to interact with tellers. For that position, we're looking for people that have a great personality, that love to interact and talk with people. Basically have that customer service mindset. And then there's a sales component to that job as well. So we're always looking for tellers. We have 20 branches in the Hudson Valley. We're always advertising and we're always hiring for those positions. Experience-wise, typically for tellers, we look for 6 months work experience in some sort of retail or customer service setting. So that could be a restaurant server, it could be worked in a retail shop. Those are the individuals we're really targeting for that entry-level teller position. And people at the credit union, we have tons of success stories of people that started out as a teller with us, some full-time, some part-time, have been with the company for 30 plus years. Our CFO right now, he started out as a mailroom teller with the organization, worked for us, got his master's degree in accounting, worked his way up, and now is the second highest position in our company. Okay, and we also offer internships. However, we're not running them right now in COVID. I'm sorry, but we do five functional area internships in the spring and the fall semester: accounting, IT, marketing, consumer lending, and HR. And those are great opportunities. So, I picked out one of our current staff members just sort of as an example and a story. We have an accounting specialist that works for us that graduated from Dutchess in 2018. And then she went on to go to Marist and got her bachelor's degree in accounting. She started working for us as a part-time teller a couple of years before she went to DCC, worked for us as a part-time teller, sort of while she was going to school, part-time. And then she took our accounting internship while she worked for us when she was going to Marist. And then right after she graduated, we hired her on in that accounting role. So that's sort of a typical career type progression that we see at the credit union. A lot of times people start as a teller, they're pursuing other functional areas of interest, internships or development internally will allow them to be in a lot better position to compete for that role with others from outside the organization.
Thank you. Yeah, we had I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, that's okay. I just wanted to say that I can attest for that because my brother and my mother actually had that trajectory within the credit union as well. My brother's still there. My mother actually retired. I think she was there for like 25 or 30 years. So that's definitely something that I can personally attest to as well.
Yeah, I got to hang out with your brother at 7:15 this morning for a little bit. So
that's awesome to hear. Yeah, no, that's great. Who else? Anybody else care to share?
I'll jump in.
Thank you, Paul.
Yeah, no problem. So I know that before I mentioned different positions that we recruit for at our call center, but I'll focus on the one that makes the most sense at this point in time. So our entry-level tech support position, you might know it as a customer support rep, technical support rep. This role, again, entry-level, it's a full-time position. It is 40 hours a week. We do offer part-time. About 3 months into the role, you do have that option. But to start off, we put you in a 5-week training period, which is all paid for. It's all on site at our call center. It does not require you to travel outside of our call center. So we do get you all up to speed. We prepare you as much as possible for this role. We don't expect you to know everything after the 5-week training period, but there's a lot of support in the call center. We have almost 600 agents on site now. And because of that, you are in a team, 10 to 15 other agents, some of them that are more tenured, that will be able to support you every step of the way. So The longer you're with us and you show up to work every day, you grow very quickly in this company. I guess experience-wise, what we're looking for, you don't have to be an IT whiz. You don't have to have ever taken computer classes. But if you have that desire to learn more about internet and phone technology, and you want to be in that call center environment and be in a very friendly environment, that's what Spectrum's all about here in Middletown. It truly is. And what we're doing is assisting people that are in distress. And I know distress is a pretty big word to use, but when people lose control of their internet, it's a very stressful situation, as we all know. So we're working with a lot of residential customers. There's no sales involved. There's no billing. There's no cable operations. It's all internet and phone repair. So you're working with modems and routers, different phone servers. So it is a fun position. Like I said, if you're into learning about technology, we're going to start you at the bottom, and we're going to help you grow at a pretty quickly rate, rather. To give a shout out to one of our agents, Steven, who started with us in 2019 rather. He started as a Rep 1. And in 6 months, you could take a test on site to become a Rep 2. They give you a nice bump in pay. And then another 6 months of Rep 3. You could take that route, as Steven did. Within 2 years, he became a supervisor. So we've had people that became a supervisor in less than a year. It's really up to you. If you show up to training every day and you take it serious, love helping out our customers, and the information we teach you is something that you want to learn, you will grow very quickly. It's a very rewarding position. A lot of growth. And just to give one more thing, the referral program. So if you ever want to refer someone to the position and you're an employee, you get $500 referral bonus if they're with us for 6 months, and you can refer as many people as you want. So one of the many few perks that we have here at Spectrum.
Very nice. I just wanted to interject for just a moment and just let students know if you have questions as it's going on, feel free to throw them in the chat box, and we'll ask the employers to expound upon it. I just wanted to ask for Judianne, you had said that you were potentially looking for part-time folks as well. Is there any qualifications you were looking for? What kind of or any like specific things that you were thinking of students who may be interested in that kind of position?
So right now we're looking for website help to list our product. So we definitely, I mean, Shopify is a pretty user-friendly system, but it's not required to have knowledge of it beforehand, because it is easy to pick up if you're a quick learner with that. We're also looking for in-shop help. So as we're approaching our busy season, so spring is going to definitely pick up with traffic. So we're going to need like in-shop help. So helping customers and just being a sales associate. But as far as requirements go, I mean, I've always just looking for people who are driven, people who ask questions. I think that a huge piece of advice if you're new in the workforce is communication, and to be very clear. If you're unsure of something, that's fine. Just communicate it and ask questions, so you clear it up and you don't do it again if there's a mistake. But yeah, I think just drive, which is something I think you just have, and you want to work hard and you want to figure it out. You want to stay late. Like, I look for that in an employee, because it's not just like a 9 to 5 that we have like weird hours, and we're just constantly doing things for the website and the store. So
Certainly, thank you. Yeah, no, I figured that might be good to ask. Is there anybody else who wanted to share? I think everybody went. Ben, did you want to go into the next question, or?
Yeah, I think. So now we're just really looking to create a network opportunity between you guys, the employers, and you guys, the students. So employers, if you could list any contact information you have in the chat, or say it out loud for the students. Talk about the best ways to find out about updates or opportunities from your company. What qualities are you looking for in potential employees? How do you see students using their current education experience in the field or in a specific role in your job? What levels of education does your company really look for? And what motivates you to do well and keep going yourself. And if you could, list some challenges that you faced in your role or in your company, so that students are aware of what, you know, they're getting themselves into. Does anyone want to go first? Dan?
I missed the question. I'm sorry, I was typing.
Oh, that's okay. So yeah, list any contact information you have. Just for a second, talk about any updates that you have. How can people that are looking for a job in your company find any updates or opportunities to join? And what like job education experience are you looking for people that work for your company?
Yeah, you know, we list all of our jobs on our external website. So it's hvcu.org, which I'll put in the chat in a minute. So, you know, all of our opportunities are listed there. We post everything, you know, both internally to our own employees, so they're aware of any job opportunities and can apply, as well as externally. And then, you know, a lot of the job boards also pick those up, like Indeed or Career Builder or Monster. You'll see them on there as well. We also, on our website career page, have an ability for people to connect and share their resume and sort of tell us what their areas of interest are, as well, without applying for a job if they're not ready. So let's say you're, I don't know, I'll say an accounting major, and you know, you want to share your resume, you're not ready to apply yet. You can also in there tell our system to let you know when we have any accounting related openings, and they'll email those to you through our applicant tracking system. So that's really the best way to kind of, you know, stay up to date on what openings we have. You know, in terms of qualifications, education-wise and experience-wise, you know, it really varies by the position. Like I said, we have a lot of different types of positions. You know, I focus on just like an entry-level teller. Really, we're just looking for a high school diploma or GED. So anyone that has, you know, community college or any higher level of education would be in a better position. And then we're looking for that 6 years of it, 6 months of, you know, customer service or retail oriented experience.
Thank you, Dan.
You're welcome.
Would anyone like to go next?
I can go next. So our positions that we have, they're going to vary as far as the qualifications and the experience and the education necessary. We do have some roles that you don't have to be even a high school graduate, but we do have some roles that you may need either an associate's or a bachelor's or a master's degree for. It all just depends. We work with so many different companies and we have so many different opportunities available. As far as we are concerned, it's really a good idea, even if you don't see a position online, like Dan was saying, that you are looking for, to apply with us. Apply, register, get all the paperwork out of the way. You're going to stay active in our system as long as you're communicating with us. So if we don't hear from you in 30 days, we're going to give you a call. We're going to update your information. Did you move? Are you looking for something different? Did anything change with your work history? What are your requirements? So as long as you're communicating with us, you're going to stay active. So anytime a position comes in that we think that you're qualified for, we're going to give you a call about it. And you can always say no, but it's just a second set of eyes looking for work for you. But on the other hand, if we do, or if you do something like this with any company, it's a really good idea that if you find other work and you don't want to be contacted anymore, to just communicate with that person rather than just ignoring phone calls or anything like that, because everybody notes everything. Technology is really easy to just update your interactions. So just make sure that you're communicating, because if you're not, and then, you know, they're deactivating the file and you're looking for work in the future, it might be, well, we called you this many times and you weren't communicating with us, and it's not going to make you look the greatest. So like Judianne was saying earlier, communication is really, really important, whether it's questions or just a really quick update, just say, or an email saying, hey, I'm not available anymore, or hey, this has changed. It's super, super important, because you know, your first impression or your last impression is usually the lasting impression. That's it.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
Would anybody, but I should say before next part, would anybody else want to share anything else before? I guess one of the last questions that I like to ask is just, if you had just like one, like snippet or a nugget of knowledge or, advice that you'd like to impart to the students listening, and then anybody, I guess, any students who do watch this afterwards, just from what you've seen, especially in the last year, if you can, think about putting yourself in their shoes, looking for a job, maybe coming out of school, or just being close to being done with school. If you had any advice that you would share with them, we'd appreciate it if you share it with them.
One thing I've told through the 30 years I've been doing this, be attentive and be accurate with your resume. Be clear with your vision. Keep the mistakes down. It's your living, breathing document of your career. I think people overlook the importance of a resume, and it's all the more important right now, where we don't have the human factor as much in play these days. And stay involved with activities such as volunteering. I mean, that's one of your biggest networks I think I've ever seen, is being involved with groups that do good with the community.
Thank you. Yeah, that's a very good point. We didn't even really mention or bring up volunteerism yet, but I know that the career folks are actually working on doing something, I believe, with volunteering, like a volunteer expo of some sort, right, Joe?
Yeah, absolutely. In March, we have a volunteer fair for not-for-profits in the community to encourage students to get involved, to give back to their community. It's a chance not only to give back to their community, but also a chance to maybe build up some of the skills if they haven't gotten any real experience yet. So it's an event that we have scheduled March 18th. From 10 to 1, and I'll talk a little bit about that. It is on our career page, and students that are interested can click on a link and find out about the event and sign up for it, and talk to some of the local not-for-profits that day if they have questions about what kinds of volunteer opportunities they have. And there'll be a range of things. We're talking things from like working with shelter animals like the PCA, to maybe Meals on Wheels, to Walkway Over the Hudson, environmental groups, Grace Smith's House, Mental Health Association. So we're looking at having a whole range of different not-for-profit agencies for students to get a chance to give back to their community. So thank you for raising that.
Oh yeah, no problem. Then thank you, Joe.
Joe, I have a quick question. Is that open to alumni as well? Because I think I would like to attend that.
Yes, it's going to be on our career page, so that it's open to anyone from the community that wants to participate, as well as alumni. So yeah, absolutely.
Awesome.
We had a question that one student asked, that they asked, does having an accent in their English, would it prevent them from starting an entry-level job related to customer? Does anybody want to weigh in on that?
Yeah, I will. No, it doesn't prevent you. I mean, I think that, the only challenge is just making sure that, that there's able to be the clear understanding with communication. Having an accent in and of itself, I don't think is a barrier at all. And certainly people that are bilingual, I think, have a real advantage, depending on the language. I know we're really looking to hire a lot of bilingual Spanish staff members, and it's really hard to source. But in a customer service role, when you're communicating with others and you're talking about products and very specific items, there's definitely got to be some clarity to the conversation. That's what I would say.
Thank you.
Thank you for your input, Dan.
Did anybody else, I just wanted to, did anybody else have any other pieces of advice they wanted to share before I move into the career? Go ahead.
I would say like persistence is key, because I don't feel that as someone who went to college for education and ended up in luxury fashion in a very corporate setting and had a really good job. I mean, now I have my own business. Like, I don't think it necessarily, I think that you just have to be persistent in what you're looking for. And if you have the drive to do it, then you can do it. So I don't think that you necessarily need the qualifications on a resume to get the job you want, but I do think experience is helpful. And if you could get some, part-time jobs working in anything just to, in something related to a field of interest to you, then I think that's very important. Also, advice is free. So if you are working alongside of somebody who you admire and if that's a job you're interested in, I ask a million questions, because that's going to get you that one step further.
Thank you.
I actually have something just to add to that as well. A lot of what Judianne is saying is it couldn't be more on point. Personally, I have always been interested in business and hiring and recruiting and kind of interacting with employees. But I went to school for history and I wanted to teach. And I just have always had jobs where I was customer service and always was promoted and that kind of thing. And so my very first job that I ever had, I was there for 11 years and I ended up being a restaurant manager. I got promoted as far as I could go. And then I decided that I didn't really want to do restaurant anymore. So I wanted to move into something different. And so that's when I actually went to Ethan Allen. I manage my division right now. We've expanded because of me and my division, but I went there looking for a temp job. I got hired. I started at the front desk. I answered phones. I processed new applicants. And then within a year and a half, maybe that long, I was managing the division. And that's all for two of the reasons that Judianne said. First being, I wasn't too proud to go from being a restaurant manager and making what I was making in a salary position to an hourly position. And I know everybody can't afford to do that, but if you can, it's great. You learn a new position and learning at the front desk. I talk to every single person that comes through that door and I learned everything about what the business does. And then I was able to say, hey, I really like the industrial piece of this. I really like the staffing and recruiting piece of it. I like talking to these customers. Let's see how this can work for me. And, I was, pictured, or I was, singled out by management to be someone who could be moved forward. And the second piece in that is the find a mentor part. And, there was someone within our company who said, listen, I can't grow unless you grow. So here's everything I know. And I just got a complete dump of everything that was in their mind onto me. And, we moved from there. And now I trained other people who took my position in a different role. And that's how you grow. You have to surround yourself with people who want you to grow so that they can grow. You never want to surround yourself with people who say, I don't want you to take my position. I'm threatened by you. You want people who are, you know what, we move up together. That's that.
Yeah, that's definitely a good point. Thank you for those, for sharing that. Before I turned over to Joe for our career portion, I just wanted to remind the students, if you do want to enter into the chance to win a gift card, I'm going to, while Joe's speaking, I'm going to just enter my email and then a message that you can copy and paste. You could send me the message right to my email, just so that I know you participated. And then we'll enter you into the raffle and we'll let you know if you got the gift card. So like I said, yeah, I'll enter my stuff and just copy and paste it and you could send it to my email. But now I'm just for a brief career business savvy discussion from Joe, I'm going to turn it over to him.
Thank you, Michael. So my name is Joe Riley. I work with Michael, Ben, and Courtney in the ACT Center. I work for you. I'm a resource for you. Ben began tonight's discussion by saying, take advantage, connect with people tonight, pick their brain, talk to them, ask questions, take advantage of this resource. I'm a resource for you. I work at the school. I'm the career person. I can help you with making connections with potential jobs. I can help you figure out and be accurate on your resume. You heard tonight the importance of resume being clear and being accurate. So I know I only got a couple of minutes. So the first thing I want to do is thank you all for hanging in there. And thank you for, listening to some solid advice from people that are out there in the field that are working, that operate companies that are interested in hiring. The good news for you to hear is that there's a need. If you are a person seeking employment right now, employers need you. So that's the good news. So then the next step is, how can you connect with that? So I have a couple things, and literally I'm only going to be talking for a couple of minutes. So I had 2 items I wanted to share with you. One is a brief checklist about some key things that you should be aware of as you're trying to go forward with finding a position and finding a job. And then the second thing I'm just going to very briefly show you is a site that's called ONET. ONET is the federal government's interactive website around careers and occupations, and it has an enormous amount of information, and it's a great resource. So first thing is, let me show you this checklist that I developed. So all of you as being business majors, BAT, BUS, paralegal, I wanted you to approach thinking about your job and career and finding a job as being business savvy. First thing is, congratulations to all of you for utilizing this resource that was put together tonight for you, where you could connect with businesses and hear what they have to say and give you tips and share their experiences. But that's the kind of thing you continually need to do. You continually need to look forward to what other business opportunities, what other resources are available on campus in the community, so that you can continue to refine your skills and make connections. So there are events that we're doing on campus. Check the career page to see. Michael mentioned a little while ago, we do have an event that's coming up regarding volunteer. In April, we have another event coming up. It's our virtual career week. So just keep checking to see what resources are out there and take advantage of them. One of the presenters tonight talked a bit about the importance of your resume. I can't tell you how many times when somebody's put together a resume and it was haphazard, how that just closes the door on your chances for being able to go for a job interview. I've seen it personally at Dutchess when somebody submitted a resume and there's typos in it, or there's errors in it, or the font is just disorganized. Even if they have the qualifications and the experience to be brought in for an interview, if their resume is just sloppy, you're not even going to get to be invited to come in for that interview. So take a look at your resume. If you need help with it, our office in the career, we do resume workshops. There is one coming up 1 week from today with the Writing Center. We're doing a Zoom resume workshop with the Writing Center that can give you some tips about working on your resume. So if you haven't looked at your resume in a while, or if it needs some work, take advantage of that workshop that we're having a week from today. One of the other presenters tonight talked about the importance of accurate and good communication. So if you are ignoring emails going back and forth, or you have listed that you have your phone number for someone to call you in case you're doing some follow-up, and say, here's my phone number, please call me in case you have any information. And the person goes and goes on your phone, and if they find out your messages haven't been set up yet, your voicemail is filled, call back later, or you have some you don't have any message saying, you want to have some kind of clear communication on your voice message saying that I'm not available right now. Please leave a short message. I'll get back to you as soon as possible. or if you no longer are interested in getting emails back and forth from, let that agency know that you want to be taken off their mailing list. Ignoring them is just not professional. You're in a business area, so you want to make sure all of your communications, whether they're by email, whether it's voicemail, whether it's a message that you're leaving on your phone, you want to make sure that it's clear, it's concise, and it's professional. Be aware how you're communicating with others. So on here now, and I just had a couple other things in here. Let's just see. And at the point when you are ready to go forward with an interview, make sure you're dressing appropriately. You're dressing for success, that you're dressing, you know, in a business manner. You don't want to go to an interview, or even if it's a Zoom interview, where your dress is going to raise questions. You want to be professional. You want to be sharp, look good, put your best foot forward. I'll often say, and this is a stupid question to ask, if I was doing this workshop and I was able to see you personally, I would say, how many times do you get a chance to make a first impression? You get one time. So if you go to an interview and you're not dressed professionally, not having business attire, you're already, before you even open your mouth, you're setting a bad, you're creating a bad first impression. And it's sometimes very difficult to be able to overcome that. Just the last couple of points, be prepared to concisely, clearly, and effectively say who you are, what your strengths are, in a very short 30-second narrative. You should be able to prepare a 30-second speech which says, hi, my name is, I am a business major graduating from Dutchess Community College. I've always loved business. I love the aspect of communicating and connecting with people. I like representing a company. I like to be a part of a team that can be successful and support the company's mission. And I just enjoy representing a company and being successful and talking to consumers about the product that my company offers. Be able to present a 30-second discussion about who you are so you can clearly and effectively share that with employers. Then the last piece on this I would want to say is prepare, practice, and research. So if you have a job interview coming up, I want you to prepare for it. You should, and if you need help with preparing for it and practicing it and answering the questions and standing in front of a mirror to be able to look somebody directly in the eye, to walk into a room or doing it by Zoom where you can sit confidently and talk to them clearly and concisely and look them directly in the face and be able to do that in a confident manner, it doesn't happen by accident. You've got to prepare. You got to practice, and you have to be able to have confidence in what you're doing. You have to visualize yourself being successful. And I, working in the career office, can help you with that. We can do some practice mock interviews. You can come, make an appointment, and we'll practice it. It doesn't happen by accident. You got to work on it. You got to put the time in. You have to put the effort to be successful. So the last thing, very quickly, I know my time is running out. I just want to show you a little bit about Own It. So I want to screen share and hopefully I'll find this correctly. Okay. All right. So if you are on the sign on to my DCC, go to the student section. Then underneath the student section, if you click on the ACT Center, underneath the ACT Center, you're going to see information related to career planning. If you click on the career planning page, first thing that you'll see on there, it's an overview of the career services that we provide in the office. If you click on resources, the resources then will give you information. There's a PowerPoint narrative that we've done on resume. You can look at that. There's another one on career assessments. If you're interested in taking some career assessments, there's a narrative about that. Then there's another narrative on Own It. So you could look at the PowerPoint that kind of gives you an explanation about Own It and some of the features of it. And then right below that is the link to get into Own It directly. If you click on Own It, this is what the home page looks like for Own It. This section right here, you could, if you type in what job that you might be interested in finding out more about, you can type in teller, you can type in information about being a marketer, telemarketer, your bookkeeper, temporary account position. So you can type it in there and then hit go, and it'll give you information about the job itself, everything you could possibly ever want to know to describe the job, including outlook for the job, how many openings there are in New York State every year for the next 10 years, how much money would a person just starting out make, how much would they make over time, if you wanted to pursue getting a 4-year degree, where you could go for further education. So all of that is within this section. Just type it in here. If you are not sure about what job or you're looking at potential jobs in a cluster. So on this section here, find occupation, if you hit the drop down there, you can look at different jobs by area. For instance, the career cluster, you can look up jobs, say, if you're interested in something related to finance. If you clicked on finance, it would give you information about all the potential jobs that are in finance, being a loan officer, budget analyst. Click on the job and it would give you all of the information about that job. It is an incredibly powerful tool, has information about job openings, information about projected openings over the next 10 years, where you can go to school, information about professional associations connected to that particular job. So just click on Own It and just start getting in there, start playing with it. And again, that's the summary page. So if you have any questions, I'd be happy to follow up with you. My name is Joseph Riley. You can reach me through the ACT Center, and I'll type my email address on the chat before we all close. That's it. If anyone has any questions, just let me know.
Thank you so much, Joe. I feel like I need to like schedule a career appointment with you after that. Like, you're very thorough. We really appreciate it. And, you know, just to echo what he said, I mean, to the students listening, like he's a great resource. We also have other career counselors if Joe gets bombarded after this. So do really take advantage of those resources. I just wanted to share too in the chat box. Chris and Amy had some good feedback to share about voicemails and keeping conversations relevant. Those are really good points as well. But I just want to say also, before I turn it over to Ben, just to close, you know, thank you so much to all our employers for participating. It really means a lot to us. And then we know that it's, like I said in the beginning, it's early on, it's important that the students are here to hear what you have to say. And then, yeah, I'll look forward to your emails later for participating. If you have any questions after about anything the employers have said, you could use my email. You can use Ben's email to just connect with us if you have questions about anything that was gone over, or if you want contact that you didn't get for some reason, just let us know, just email us. Any other last thoughts, Ben, before we close?
I'd just like to say, students, thanks for logging in. It's a really great opportunity. And for those that are going to watch later, hello, thank you for coming.
In the future.
Yeah. And for the employers, just thank you for joining us today and for providing our students with information that they can use to help them grow within their desired field. It's really important. And it really means a lot to them and a lot to us that you're here tonight. So thank you again.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you for having us.
Good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a great night.
Have a good night, guys. And students, remember to message Michael that you were here for the raffle.
Thank you all so much.
Oh, no problem. Bye.
Night.